Welcome and thanks for tuning in and watching this another episode of Missing Millions. Patrick, really love these segments because we really talk about what's happening in the actual real estate market, not what's going on in the headlines, not what's being talked about by the talking heads, but what's actually happening. And right now, what's actually happening is there may be signs of the Canadian real estate bubble starting to deflate because this one leading indicator called sales to new listing ratio has been showing so for quite some time. So let's start the conversation there, Patrick, and then talk about where we go from there.
Well, it's interesting is that, when you look right across the country, excuse me, when you look right across the country, you're starting to see, sales to new listing ratios shift. More inventory seems to be coming on the market. There's more options, and people are kind of concerned about this bubble deflating because now the supply side of things is growing in many regions, and the market seems to be slowing down or softening. And the reality of it is slowing down. But we use the analogy of when you're going down the highway and you're doing 140 kilometers an hour. Not that any of us would ever do that, but if you're doing 140 kilometers an hour and all of a sudden you slow down to 100 kilometers an hour, guess what? You're still doing the speed limit, but man, it seems a lot slower than 140K. So that's the fundamental thing that we're bumping up against. And I don't want to say bumping up against it, but that's what we're experiencing. The better news around all of that, of course, is that the prices aren't coming off.
Yeah, what's interesting about this, Patrick, is you talk about how it feels we're going really fast and we've slowed down, but we're still going really fast, which is true. But there are many markets now, and we talked about this on our most recent episode of Real Estate News on Rain Channel. We talked about there are many markets that are now starting to cross over into balanced territory because the sales to new listing ratio is coming down. And the reason that those ratios are coming down is two reasons, Patrick. You talked about it. Number one, sales activity, although it is still really high compared to 5-year trends and 10-year trends, it is going lower compared to the March peak. So sales activity is coming down as well as supply is going up. So you essentially have two ratios working in tandem in order to rebalance things. And from that perspective, no doubt things are pointing in the right direction. If you're looking for a better deal, deals will be coming because this sales to new listings ratio is an indicator of what's to come, not necessarily what's happened, based on past data.
Well, and that's the thing. We're going against probably the general consensus where things aren't going to come off too much in terms of prices. I still believe prices are going to soften, before the end of the third quarter, so before the end of September, maybe into the fourth quarter, but I see prices softening in some areas. And I think we have to be careful to say that it isn't a national overview that we're giving. We're actually talking and looking regionally. So when we talk about some areas coming into balanced market, one of them that really surprised me was Ottawa coming into a balanced market. That was really a surprising piece of data that showed up. Edmonton, not so surprising. That was the other balanced market that was referred to, but not as surprising. As I talk about what's going on in Edmonton, we're knowing that talking to realtors in that area, investor-focused realtors, stuff in the 3s is selling really quickly. Stuff in the 4s is slowing down and is quite soft. And anything over 5 is like, oh, okay, we don't know. We're going to have to spend some time on that one. So these are things that is only to say, JG, that we have to look at the regional data and then assess it from there. So it's not a blanket statement, but these are some of the things that we're seeing. And I want to say this is one thing about Real Estate News. Now, Rain members know this, is that on Rain Channel, we do Real Estate News weekly now. And because we're doing things weekly, it's actually quite surprising how much little nuanced data shows up for us on a weekly basis. When you're doing the research team is bringing things up that's going, oh, the most recent example that comes to mind is that Ottawa slipping into a balanced market. Now, if you're living in Ottawa, you're going, you guys are crazy. That isn't happening. But the data is actually supporting it.
Well, that's the idea, is you want to be ahead of that. You want to be ahead of the curve, and that's what being a part of Rain Channel, being a part of the Real Estate Investment Network, that's what it's all about. Now, all of this leads into a bigger conversation, Patrick, and that is specifically about the journey of real estate. One of the things I find is a lot of real estate investors right now are just desperate to time the market perfectly. They're focusing all their efforts on timing the market. And to me, that's a ludicrous idea, because when it comes to real estate investing, there's timing and there's timelines. And the longer your timeline, the less you have to worry about your timing. It's only those people that really have a short-term timeline, a really short timeline, where timing is really that important. I mean, of course, if you buy at the bottom of a market, you're going to be in better shape, but your timeline is more important than timing oftentimes. And that's where the journey of real estate comes in, which is what we're going to be talking about at the upcoming coaching conference. Now, the coaching conference is a pretty big deal, Patrick. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, the coaching conference is an opportunity to follow along in a couple of different streams and thought process. One is about stepping into the growth of a portfolio, whether you're just starting out or whether you're wanting to expand on your portfolio. That growth stream is really focused on that. We're having not only trusted partners, but yourself is presenting that side of the equation, which says, okay, what are the things, the tactics, the strategies that you want to use given the market to grow your portfolio? And that can cover a range of things, which you can speak to in a minute on your side of the equation. On my side of the equation, we have a number of REIN members and investors that have been, in the game for a long time, and they've grown a lot of wealth, and they're looking more at things like tax planning, exit strategies, legacy planning, wills and estates. There's a part of it, and really strong maintenance of an existing portfolio. It used to be that everybody wanted 100 doors, but what many have learned over the years is that although that's a worthy goal, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you really want to do. Gosh, we're seeing REIN members with 3, 5, 10 doors that are absolutely hitting it out of the park, and have hit it out of the park because they've done just a great job of taking that portfolio, managing the crap out of it, and now they're sitting in a great position financially. And with the recent, past year, I mean, gosh, think about those that were sitting on the sidelines. We talk about missing millions, JG. I mean, how many people have we talked to even a year and a half ago? We said, start learning, start getting in the game now, because it's going to be a great year and opportunity. And well, the members who have been accumulating real estate over the past several years, I mean, many of them saw a 30 and 50% bump in the value of their real estate, depending on where they were, of course.
Huge.
Huge. It's huge. And so let's do quick math. If you owned 3 properties that were worth $500,000, whether that had happened over a period of time or whatever that was, imagine going up 3% or 30% on that particular portfolio. It's $600,000. It's like, wow, 600, 450.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to check your math there, Patrick. It is early Saturday morning for you, but
it is.
But the point remains is this. We had a client recently. You and I were chatting to Patrick, and Nick Banks was there as well, and we were talking to this client. She did her first flip recently. Now, she was part of a coaching program. She did an incredible job. Her very first flip, and I asked her, I said, how did you do on your very first flip? And she says, well, I think I did pretty good. I did $85,000 of profit on my first flip. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. That is so good. And now this person is going to be heading into coaching conference, not only with the confidence of that flip behind her, but also with knowing, okay, now where do I go from here? I've done this one deal. I did really well on it, $85,000 profit. That's fantastic. But what do I do now? How do I take that profit and how do I grow? And that's one of the tracks that we're really going to be focusing on at the coaching conference. On my side of the equation, we're going to be talking about how people can grow their portfolio, and there's specific tactics people need to use if they want to grow their equity, or if they want to grow their income, or if they want to grow both. And these are things we're going to be diving deep into detail, not only on how to grow, but also how to finance that growth, which is often where people get stuck, is how do you finance all this activity? We're going to be talking about that coaching conference, but important to note, Patrick, coaching conference is an exclusive event. You cannot buy your way into the event. You can't just buy a ticket. You either have to be a Real Estate Investment Network All Access member, or you have to be a REIN Channel annual subscriber, and then you're going to get the first half of the event. So that is something for people to know, that you can't buy a ticket to the coaching conference. This is exclusively for people that are already in the know and are already getting the research. They're already getting the education. Now it's time to put it into practice.
Well, let's put it this way, and there's 2 parts to that. Number one, it's to inspire people to become part of the REIN ecosystem, and it's to also honor those that are already part of the REIN ecosystem. When we look at the language we use, when we look at the philosophy, the systems, the processes, this is really about supporting those individuals who want to invest in real estate, not speculate in real estate, and understanding the systems, understanding the process, the methodology, and actually being on the journey. So it's one of the reasons that we want the individuals that are coming to the coaching conference, so they actually understand the ethos of the Real Estate Investment Network, the ethos of the REIN channel, and to know that they can be supported in their journey, and because they're a part of the process, the systems, the philosophy of how to successfully invest in real estate, and then be supported and able to do that.
Yeah, I was thinking about another story. You just made me think of another story. A gentleman that is one of our clients in Regina, Patrick, and he's a member of the Real Estate Investment Network, and he's in Regina, and he's been absolutely killing it. I think he's done 6 or 7 deals this year alone. And I was asking him, I said, what motivated you to get off the sidelines? There's so many people right now that are on the sidelines, and they're literally, they're losing $300, $400, $500 a day in appreciation, in cash flow, in mortgage pay down, because they are not in the game. I was asking this gentleman, I said, what has motivated you to get off the sidelines? And he says, you know what, JG? It's the confidence I gained by going to one of your events. One of the events that the Real Estate Investment Network put on. In this case, he's going to be coming to coaching conference. That's why we're saying, folks, you guys got to come to coaching conference. But it was an event like that, Patrick, that motivated John to get off the sidelines into the game. He's absolutely crushed it in the last 12 months, and he realizes I would have left all that money on the table if I wouldn't have gotten off the sidelines. So staying on the sidelines and not having the confidence, listen, we all started with zero. We all started not having the confidence. And sometimes you love to say, and I think it's absolutely accurate, is confidence is seldom owned and always borrowed. And this is a perfect example of why people have to come to an event like Coaching Conference in order to gain that confidence, to get off the sidelines into the action, so you can benefit from the incredible opportunities coming down the pipeline in real estate.
Yeah, you make a really good point around a couple things, JG. All of those are great points, as a matter of fact. But let's first look at what we've been talking about for well over a year. You and I started back in April going, this will present more opportunities for real estate investors than ever seen before. Now, we were all of the same mindset. I think everybody called where the real estate market is going wrong. I think there isn't a single person, including the banks and CMHC, who made the right call there. But we quickly saw where it was going and what it was doing. Now, that's all to say this, is that there's a lot of things that have changed forever in the real estate world. And, if we talk about the concept of missing millions, I can't stress enough, we have to look at real estate investing through a set of filters that are changing and shifting. The filters we used to have they still apply, but now we have to look at a different set of dynamics that are happening. I'll use this example only because I've just recently researched it. We talk about what's going on in the East Coast. Let's use Nova Scotia or specifically Halifax as an example. They're seeing really actually pretty robust population growth. And I'm looking at that, I'm going, well, why is population increasing in Nova Scotia and or in Halifax specifically, as an example? And you got Nova Scotia overall unemployment 13%, Halifax overall more than 8%. Yet their population's growing. Well, people aren't moving there for the jobs. I mean, there's no jobs. It's not like there's a whole thing of jobs. It's not that. It's this. It's the affordability, because now there's homes that are affordable. They're oceanfront. I mean, they're spectacular. The countryside's amazing. The community is amazing, and they have a great internet connection. So they're literally seeing population growth. The real estate market is booming in their world, as you and I have talked about on REIN Channel, JG. But what's driving that? Well, of course, what's driving that is that cohort, that demographic that has the ability and the option to work from home. And now, guess what? Their commute is from maybe their bedroom to their kitchen or their home office. And geographically, it doesn't matter where they live. And that's what I believe is driving a big part of what's going on in Halifax. Not the only thing, for example, but it's a big part of it. And we're starting to see those kinds of things. It's all to say this. What's the filter you're looking at when you're investing in real estate? What is the research you're using? And that really is about investing and not speculating, and looking at the subtleties that are happening because of the pandemic.
Yeah, and I mean, I just got just literally yesterday had a deal float across my desk. Get this, Patrick. Property, I'm not kidding you. These are real numbers. The property is $190,000 private sale. It's already been appraised at $220,000. So there's about 30 grand on the table just on the appraisal. And then it looks like the market research is showing that we should be able to flip that property for about $255,000 if we do a quick cosmetic flip on it. So fascinating. This is what's driving investors to the East Coast. And you're right, work from home is definitely driving some of that right now. The question is that a fad? Is it a trend? Is it going to stick? Is it not going to stick? That's what we talk about on Rain Channel, and that's what we recently dove deep into. And that's what real estate investors are going to have to find out, and only time will tell. So get yourself a copy, folks. We want to see everyone come to Coaching Conference. We know it is August 14th, by the way, in case you don't have the dates. August 14th is the date. The only way to attend is either you're a subscriber to Rain Channel or you're a member of the Real Estate Investment Network. You're an all-access member. Patrick, I look forward to seeing you there. Folks, don't delay. Get started today. And you got to get off the sidelines, Patrick, because sidelines kill investing dreams.
The world is changing. The economy is changing. This is such an exciting time to take advantage of what's going on in the world. Look at it through a different set of filters, and man, oh man, it can be an exciting time.
Awesome. Thanks, folks. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment. We need your comments. We want to hear from you. Kevin, thank you for commenting. Everyone else, please like and share this. Sign up for Rain Channel. If you're not a member, if you're not part of the community, now is the time. And we'll see you at Coaching Conference August 14th. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, JJ.